She had not spoken to anyone in 3 days. Grief had emptied the house of every sound except the quiet ones. Footsteps, a closing door, the occasional sigh nobody heard. And through all 3 days, one presence never left her side, not asking questions, not offering advice. Just lying against her feet, waking every time she moved, watching her face the way someone watches for a sign that everything is finally going to be all right. No visitor stayed that long, no phone call reached that deep, but he never once got up and walked away. If you have ever felt a dog stay closer to you during your darkest days than any person managed to, you already know the feeling this video is about to put into words. Most people believe dogs became part of our lives by accident, a convenient partnership that happened to work. Early humans needed help hunting and guarding. Wolves needed easy food. And over thousands of years, that arrangement slowly turned into companionship. It is a reasonable story, and much of it is true. But it leaves out something almost nobody stops to ask. Why this animal? Out of every creature on Earth capable of forming a working relationship with humans, why did the one that ended up curled beside our beds, sensing our sadness before we said a word, become the one we now call our best friend? Here is the surprising part. Dogs did not simply learn to tolerate human emotion the way a trained animal learns a command. Researchers studying canine behavior found that dogs approach a crying person, even a complete stranger, far more often and far more gently than they approach someone who is simply talking or humming. In a study led by researcher Deborah Custance, dogs consistently moved toward the person expressing distress, nuzzling, resting a head on a lap, offering comfort with no reward involved, no treat, no command, nothing but the sound of someone hurting. It did not matter whether that person was their own owner or a stranger they had met minutes earlier. The response was the same, gentle, immediate, and entirely unprompted. Something in a dog seems built to notice pain and move toward it rather than away from it, which is not the most common instinct in the animal kingdom at all. You have probably felt this yourself without ever putting a name to it. The exact moment your dog appeared beside you, the second your mood shifted. Before you had cried, before you had said anything, as if he already knew. That is where the deeper question begins. Because if this sensitivity is not something we trained into dogs on purpose, something else has to explain why it exists so consistently across nearly every dog, in nearly every home, throughout all of history. Many people who have walked through real suffering, illness, loss, loneliness that language could not touch, described the same quiet realization once they look back. The presence that stayed did not lecture them toward healing. It did not need them to explain themselves. It simply stayed, patient enough to let grief take its own shape and its own time, offering nothing but nearness, which turned out to be exactly what was needed. Family and friends often meant well, but their comfort came wrapped in advice, in timelines for moving on, in a quiet discomfort with silence they could not sit inside for long. The dog carried none of that discomfort. He never once suggested it was time to feel better. For many who hold a faith in something greater guiding their lives, this is where the story stops feeling like coincidence and starts feeling like design, as if a creator who understood exactly what a wounded heart requires chose to place beside us a creature incapable of judgment, incapable of impatience, capable only of staying. Consider who a dog chooses to comfort most instinctively. Not the confident, the composed, the ones handling life well on their own. The child crying alone in a bedroom. The widow sitting still in an empty house. The patient in a hospital bed who has not had a real conversation in days. Dogs gravitate toward exactly the people the rest of the world tends to overlook when pain gets too heavy to witness comfortably. The ones everyone else has quietly stopped checking on because nobody knows what to say anymore. Consider what a dog offers instead of words. No advice that misses the point. No silence born of not knowing what to say. Only steady, wordless presence, the one thing every grieving heart actually needs and almost nobody knows how to give. Consider when this presence tends to matter most. Not during the easy seasons, the celebrations, the ordinary Tuesdays. It shows up hardest during the nights sleep will not come. During the mornings, getting out of bed feels impossible. During the anniversaries, nobody else remembers anymore. The quiet, unmarked days when grief resurfaces without warning and there is no one left to call. And consider where this happens. Not only in homes. Therapy dogs sit beside hospital beds where medicine has run out of answers. They walk into courtrooms with trembling witnesses. They lie across the laps of soldiers relearning how to feel safe again, in VA hospitals and rehabilitation centers where human words have already been tried and found wanting. Somewhere along the way, this creature became present in exactly the places human comfort tends to fail. This is the answer the title of this video has been circling from the very first moment. If you have ever wondered why God would place a dog into your life specifically, the honest answer many have arrived at through their own suffering is this. Not for hunting, not for guarding a house, for staying, for the specific, rare capacity to sit beside a broken heart without needing to fix it first, offering the one thing most human comfort struggles to give freely, presence without conditions. Translate this into what it actually means for the dog resting near you right now. Every time he leans into you without being asked, every time he simply appears the moment your mood shifts, something in him is doing exactly what he seems built to do, noticing the ache behind your silence and choosing to sit inside it with you, rather than walk away from something he does not understand. He is not waiting for you to explain what is wrong before deciding whether you deserve his company. He simply stays, and in a world where so much comfort comes with conditions, that alone is rare enough to feel like something more than instinct. Whether you call that instinct, evolution, or a quiet kind of grace stitched into creation on purpose, the effect on a grieving, exhausted, overwhelmed human heart is the same. Something stayed when it would have been easier to leave. That is why so many who have walked through real darkness come out the other side saying the same thing. Almost word for word. They do not say the dog fixed anything. They say the dog stayed, and somehow that was the thing that got them through. Not a solution, a presence. The kind of presence that, for many, feels less like an accident of domestication and more like an answer someone greater than us decided to send, wrapped in fur, arriving on 4 quiet paws, exactly when it was needed most. So if you are walking through something heavy right now, and there is a dog nearby who has not left your side, you may already be living inside the very answer this video set out to give. Not a lecture, not advice, just presence, offered freely, the way it seems this creature was always meant to give it. If this touched something in you, tell me in the comments about a moment your dog showed up for you exactly when you needed it most, because I want to hear these stories. If this video meant something to you, subscribe, because there is more of this kind of story still to come. And hit like so someone else who needs to hear this today can find it too.